1-3-2. Now, on the other hand, Kenny Dalglish had two quite major decisions to make. He's brought Glenn Hussein back at number 2 at centre-back after his suspension and dropped Gary Gillespie to substitute, the 7-4 favourites for the FA Cup. So it couldn't be set up better on a Sunday afternoon in good weather, good playing conditions. Liverpool in red, Queen's Park Rangers, blue and white hoops, and Liverpool kick off. And Wegerle's got the ball straight away, but he was surely in the Liverpool half before the ball was actually centred. So we've got a false start. And referee gives me a chance to mention him. It's Brian Hill from Kettering who took charge of that final between Liverpool and Wimbledon with one or two interesting incidents which we may have to refer back to. But here's Bardsley for QPR, right back. And straight away the marking system has to be picked up. Maddox, the number 6, is going to mark Rush, and MacDonald, the number 5, is going to mark Beardsley, leaving Parker free to sweep. And that was the way they played in the league game when Rangers won 3-2. That was Simon Barker. And Hussein tested for the first time on his return from a one-match ban. It's a good ground for atmosphere, this Loftus Road. It's a football stadium in the truest sense of the word. The crowd very close to the pitch, and 4 seated stands on all the sides. Here's Hansen. Whelan for Liverpool, looking for Rush. And this is Kenny Sansom. Despite his great experience, he's never played in an FA Cup final. That was Wegerle with Hussein. Now it's McMahon. Now Nicol at left-back, as we said, wearing number 4. And Houghton, number 8 here, on the right side of midfield, finds Barnes. And straight away, it was Maddox who came into the challenge. Number 6, his job, really, is to look after Ian Rush, and what a sizable task that is. Parker forward for Rangers. Venison. Houghton into Beardsley. Sansom. McMahon, number 11. And here's Barnes up against David Bardsley, 2 former Watford colleagues. And Barnes has tricked his way through, and Seaman didn't hold it, but he did the second time. Good break by Barnes. Swift off the mark, into the heart of the Rangers' defence. And it brought a save from David Seaman, which saw the ball bounce back off him, but he got there before Rush. Beardsley. Houghton. And that was Bardsley. He and Barnes played together in the Watford side that reached the cup final in 1984 and the semi-final 3 years later. Today they're on opposite sides, but on the same side of the pitch. Here's Wegerle. Clark. Away from Hansen, but there's nobody on that side of the area for Rangers. It's Parker's header to Maddox. Two linesmen today, by the way, Kevin Lynch of Lincoln and Bill Whitehouse of West Bromwich. There goes Beardsley, and Parker, the free man, comes across. Here's Beardsley. Whelan. MacDonald. Oh, it was a bad ball by Clark, and it was snapped up by Whelan, who found McMahon. Clark tries to retrieve the error. Nicol up against Bardsley. Corner, is it? Yes. Well, Colin Clark really put his side in an awkward situation there, with a pass which went astray in his own half of the pitch. So Liverpool have the corner, and Beardsley goes across to help. Oh, look at the space here. McMahon's coming in. And Whelan.
Well, Liverpool come out and really taken the game by the scruff of the neck, haven't they? QPR hemmed back in their half, and at the moment finding it difficult to get out and set up any attacks themselves. Good start by Liverpool.
It came off Glenn Hussein. Well, it's November the 29th. You have to go back to that date for the last Liverpool defeat. That was at Sheffield Wednesday in the league. Since then, as I say, a long unbeaten run. Here's Rush against Maddox, his marker. Houghton. Barnes just touching it on. McMahon.
The ball just now into Ian Rush from Hussein is the one you've got to play right into the corners, and that takes out the sweeper Paul Parker then.
That's a foul by Venison on Sinton. Just a word in passing from Brian Hill. And Big McDonald, the number 5, will go up now. He's the best bet really in the air for QPR as a supporter of the two front men. Although Clark to the right of McDonald may try and come in on this too. And it was Hussein who was marking McDonald. Now Bardsley to Maddox. And Clark was the player who was fouled. McMahon had a word with the referee about the decision, but it's a free kick to Rangers in quite dangerous territory here. In fact, Danny Maddox now goes forward as well as McDonald. Bardsley to float the ball in. Well taken. Pace of an experienced professional. There's another one, Ray Wilkins, back to Parker. That's a good little ball, Wegerle. Paul Parker delivered that well, although felt that perhaps passing isn't the strongest part of his game. It certainly opened out the play. And Wegerle goes again. It was Nicol's header. Hansen. Bardsley. McDonald's moved up now in open play. He's in the area. So is Sinton here. Didn't quite get that down where he wanted it. He gave too much of it to Venison. Houghton. Oh, that's good play. McMahon. So's that. Barnes. Liverpool really stretching Rangers here. They've got 3 in the middle waiting. And it's Barnes cross. Rush! And somehow scrambled, I think, by Kenny Sansom at the end. Away for a corner. It was a difficult ball to cope with because Barnes really curled back to the far post away from the goalkeeper, and Rush was within, I should think, a foot of sliding it in. Hussein is forward for the corner. Away by Sinton. And it's another accurate pass from Nicol to McMahon. Liverpool spraying the ball about with a lot of confidence and plenty of width in this opening period. Barnes, who finally misplaced it to Wilkins, and now the crowd get behind Andy Sinton. Hussein. Parker. Bardsley. And Clark's pulling away from Hansen, but the Liverpool captain got there anyway.
Not sure Alan Hansen quite intended that one, but it looked good anyway.
Touch of shirt pulling there, but the referee played an advantage because Liverpool had the ball. It was McDonald on Beardsley. And here's Clark for QPR. Here's Barnes. Rush. Houghton. McMahon to Barnes. Oh, Steve Nicola offside. Offside. But as you said, Trevor, their passing Liverpool in the opening period has been very accurate.
Well, it's been an excellent 10 minutes as a cup tie, and probably the best move of the match was that magnificent move which ended up with John Barnes whipping it across the face of the goal, and Ian Rush, well, probably just a stud length away from putting Liverpool one up. At the moment, they're certainly in command.
But there's Barnes in the left-back position. That tells you something about Liverpool and the work that all their players are expected to do. Ray Wilkins making the point yesterday in Grandstand that he hasn't seen or ever experienced a team like Liverpool who work harder at getting the ball back when they lose it, which isn't all that often, actually. This is Barnes to Beardsley. They lost it there, and it was Wilkins, and it was Barnes who won it back. Nicol. And Seaman comes to catch that. Pressing his claims, David Seaman still for a World Cup place. He's actually in the B squad for the forthcoming match against the Republic of Ireland. Sinton. Houghton is back to help Venison, which will obviously be Liverpool's plan to contain Andy Sinton, the number 11 there. It's a tricky customer. In fact, he played against Liverpool at this stage last year for Brentford before he joined QPR. Here's Wilkins. Paul Parker, the captain. Wilkins to Bardsley. Whelan got the ball away.
It's interesting that David Bardsley is being told now to move much more in on John Barnes, because he was picking the ball up. In fact, by trying to get both fullbacks forward, when it actually broke down, Ray Houghton out on the right and John Barnes were getting a lot of space, and they're trying to now make sure the fullbacks are very conscious of them defensively rather than getting forward too much.
Danny Maddox. Flicked on by Clark initially. Rangers throw. Wegley on the right-hand side there, marked by Hansen. Goal kick. Well, the QPR fans have been looking forward to this tie ever since they got through against Blackpool in the last round, because their cup run so far has been littered with replays. They went to Cardiff and drew and won here. They went to Highbury and drew and beat Arsenal here. And then after drawing at Blackpool, they played twice here at Loftus Road before finally dismissing the third division side. Here's Nicol for Liverpool, who've had a couple of replays themselves against Swansea and Norwich. Hansen. Barnes. Good movement. Rush. In by Nicol, offside flag up against Rush.
The main problem QPR have as well is Steve Nicol, because Andy Sinton plays on the left and really blocks down Venison. And then, of course, you've got Hansen and Hussein who are marking the two strikers, and really Steve Nicol is the spare man, and by him pushing forward, he's given them all sorts of problems down that right-hand side.
This is Wegerle, and now it's Wilkins. Andy Sinton's gone to the right now. 15 minutes gone, no score. Wilkins for Rangers, leaving it for Parker. Kenny Sansom, Clark, and he couldn't find Wegerle. And Liverpool immediately turned defence into attack with Ray Houghton.
As it happens, Andy Sinton, he's going to stay over on the right. Don Howe's decided that Stevie Nicol was causing too many problems. Now really it's up to Liverpool to get Barry Venison in on the right-hand side.
This is Clark. Yes, it's definitely a tactical switch there, as you say. Andy Sinton's gone from left wing to right wing. This is Barnes for Liverpool. And he is following Nicol as Nicol starts to move forward. I think you spotted that at exactly the same time as Don Howe, Trevor. And there's Andy Sinton. Simon Barker. And here's Bardsley, just touching it off, trying to find Sinton. In fact, the ball was out of play. Liverpool and their supporters quite used to being drawn away in the FA Cup. It's the 11th time in 13 rounds that they've had to travel. Beardsley, back to Houghton. And he's looking for Rush. This is Barry Venison. Barnes is there, trying to find McMahon. Stretching player was Barker. Venison to Rush. Good challenge that by Danny Maddox, it really was. It gave Barker the chance to find Clark, but he showed too much of the ball to Hussein. Barker again, Wilkins. Sinton. Bardsley. Long ball from Hussein. McDonald gets to it first, ahead of Beardsley. And that's the foul by Barker on McMahon. Don't think the free kick was taken from quite the right place, but Brian Hill's quite happy as Wilkins wants Barnes. Well, the Rangers crowd really giving it a go today. They're getting behind their side every time they move forward, as you might expect. With memories of a victory here already by 3-2 this season over Liverpool. And indeed, in the League Cup semi-finals, the last time these two teams locked horns in a cup competition 4 years ago, Rangers put Liverpool out in the, I think it was the Milk Cup then. Here's Venison. Houghton looking for Rush. The test here for Maddox. He got the tackle in. He got the ball away too. It's given Ray Wilkins time to size up the situation and find Wegerle. Barker. Bardsley. Sinton back to Wilkins. Kenny Sampson's made a forward run on this side of the field. This is Barker. And Weigl is over on the right at the moment. Bardsley curls it in. And Beardsley finds Houghton. And there was a late challenge. Simon Barker on Peter Beardsley. Still 0-0, and I would say apart from the cross from Barnes that Rush nearly reached, no clear-cut scoring chances yet, but there might be here. This is Barnes.
Defending well, QPR. One or two gaps just opening up, but they're always with that spare man. Just got somebody coming across. Danny Maddox has started very well, like one or two gaps, and also kept a tight rein on Ian Rush. But at the moment, still finding it difficult to get those men forward to really worry the Liverpool defence.
Forward by Nicol, and there again, Maddox with Rush. Got a feeling that's going to be one of the key contests in this game. Danny Maddox has started very well against him, but with Rush, you have to be alert for 90 minutes. There's no question about that. One chance will do for him. This is Parker. Beardsley. Pulling of the shirt really there. Houghton on Sampson. The game is settled down now into a clearly defined pattern. It's the Rangers sweeper system, as we said at the start, against the talented Liverpool attack. And Liverpool in defence at the moment, completely undisturbed. This is Venison. But Prince Park Rangers haven't been a prolific scoring team this season. Their top scorers have only got 6 goals each, as opposed to Liverpool, who've got Rush on 19, Barnes on 17 and Beardsley on 15, which must mean something, I suppose. Here's Barnes now. I think he may have got on the linesman's foot there, but Mr. Whitehouse didn't seem too disturbed by it. Houghton. Now Whelan got away from Wilkins in midfield there and brought the save out of David Seaman. Let's say the luminous yellow jackets now on the police and stewards in the crowd have become a really regular and recognisable part of English football stadiums, and we all know why. And certainly it must be a sign of great reassurance to people in terms of safety. Here's Parker and Maddox. Clark, Barker, took that down beautifully, Simon Barker. He had a spell in the England under-21 side when he was with Blackburn Rovers, Simon Barker, and he's a midfield player with plenty of stamina as well, Trevor.
He gets forward well. At the moment, he and Ray Wilkins are having to concentrate a lot on defence. But that tactic in the league match here when QPR won 3-2, that ball in that time to Colin Clark. On the league game, it was Mark Falco who caused him a lot of problems in the air. And that's one perhaps QPR could adopt, because they did bring them success in the league match, as I say, when they won 3-2.
So we've been playing for 25 minutes. It's 0-0 here at Loftus Road. Hussain didn't quite make that. Wegley tried to. Sinton! Great challenge by Ronnie Whelan. Putting off as he was about to shoot, and in fact got his foot to the ball and conceded the corner. Whelan saving what might well have been the opening goal for Rangers. Sinton will take the corner. McDonald will come to the near post with Clark. Maddox is there as well. Clark's there. Oh, over the top. Was Grobbelaar fouled? Well, he got up well anyway. Clark got the header in. But earlier than that, Ronnie Whelan will take some credit for how quickly he got to Andy Sinton in that scoring position. First true threat from Queen's Park Rangers. Whelan in attack now. Beardsley.
Again, both the half opportunities came from balls played up into the air, and that's something I think QPR has got to think about.
He was looking to his left, but Kenny Sansom hadn't come forward. But it's still a decent cross by Barker. Clark is there, so too is Steve Nicol, covering in the centre. Well, that kept things up a bit, that little spell from Rangers. As Whelan again, it is quite noticeable how many times Whelan in defensive positions as a midfield player gets back to save the situation. But now here are Rangers again with Clark looking for Wegley. What do you make of Wegley, Trevor? Desmond was making the point earlier that sometimes, talking about it with Jimmy, that he's a star man on one day and can be frustrating on another.
Well, he loves to dribble, and you know, whenever you take people on defenders, if you keep getting caught in possession, then the crowd will get a bit frustrated. As Brian Hill in a bit of trouble, but Paul Parker asking if he's okay. Didn't see what happened to him, but looked like an ankle of some sort.
Brian actually took charge of that final against Wimbledon. He's a referee who likes to keep a smile on his face. He's getting attention from Roy Evans of Liverpool as the Rangers substitutes watch, but he's all right. In fact, he is limping a bit, Brian Hill, and offside against John Barnes. And if he has to go off, then the senior linesman will have to take over. That would be Kevin Lynch from Lincoln, who's on the near side of the pitch at the moment. And it was something, by a strange irony, that we were discussing in the referee's room before the game, what the procedure when the ref has to go off, because it happened in a match just last week. Here's Wegley. Sansom. Clark. Barker. Sinton coming in, and Grobbelaar, and Ray Wilkins! Oh, it's a goal! Ray Wilkins for Queen's Park Rangers, and Grobbelaar has to take the blame. And the London side in front, the holders behind, and it came from a man who they used to say never gets forward. Grobbelaar tried to do it with one hand, made a mess of it, and a left foot volley by Wilkins right in the top corner. And there's the face of a man who knows that he's to blame. Wilkins, who scored against Arsenal last week, now puts Rangers in front in the cup tie. after 29 minutes, and the referee now is the centre of attention because he has got an injury, and I have a feeling that Brian Hill may have to retire. The senior linesman has gone across, Kevin Lynch, but here's what happened at this very exciting time in the match. Barker's cross, Simpson's the player coming in first, Grobbelaar palms it, doesn't get there, and Wilkins smashes it, possibly off the head of Nicol, but it's a goal to Rangers. Wilkins will claim it, and there's a conference on the far side while you're watching this again regarding the referee and the linesman, because Brian Hill is having to leave the field, and as Rangers take the lead, we wait for a change of referee. Now what will happen is that Kevin Lynch from Lincoln, the mustachioed official, will take the middle. The other linesman, Bill Whitehouse from West Bromwich, will stay where he is, and the reserve official, Alan Mitchell of Kings Langley in Hertfordshire, is coming across to our side of the field. That's the reorganisation. There's Alan Mitchell. That's the reorganisation of officials, and I really feel I put the hoodoo on Brian Hill by asking him before the game what would happen there, but he's had to go off. And more important, perhaps, from the football point of view, the holders are a goal behind. And what a good volley it was, which Trevor may want to mention in a moment. Let's see if Liverpool can strike straight back. Nicol.
Well, there were two or three good, really, involvements. First of all, the ball to Colin Clark, which he did well to head back. Simon Barker once again joining. Good little bit of skill to get the cross in. But of course, Bruce Grobbelaar will know that he could have really pushed it away, but certainly not try and caught it one-handed. Ray Wilkins pounced very quick, hit it with his left foot, not his favourite foot, although he is a good two-footed player, and he's taken the lead for QPR.
The reason the referee had to go off, by the way, Brian Hill, he sustained a knock on the shin in an accidental collision with Colin Clark of Queen's Park Rangers. Well, that's really opened up this sixth-round cup tie, and possibly from a neutral's point of view, it was the best thing that could have happened, because Liverpool now have to come out and find a way back. All that time that Ray Wilkins spent in his career, Don Howe's encouraged him to forage forward when he can. All that time he spent as a holding midfield player. And since he's joined Rangers, he's been up there a great deal of the time. Here's Bardsley. McMahon. Whelan finds Barry Venison. 5 up for Liverpool, waiting for a cross. Rush tries to find Beardsley. Now Wilkins in defence. He's such an influence on this Rangers team. Foul. Hansen holding Regularly. Oh, it's gone the other way. I would have said Hansen was holding Regularly's shirt, but still. Here's McMahon. Barnes. Up against Bardsley. Barnes cross, Rush! Just glanced his forehead. Houghton. Venison. And Wilkins is there again. It's a foul. Bardsley on Barnes. Liverpool noticeably moving up a gear, having been taken aback by that Rangers strike. But there were plenty of goals in the league game, and there may be more to come today. Barnes got 2 that day, by the way, and he's lining up a free kick here, about 25 yards out. McMahon is there too. And McMahon strikes it well over. Talking of striking the ball, Trevor, you were mentioning Ray Wilkins there. Really a volley from that position. Some players possibly would have skied that one, but he really hit it through, didn't he?
He hit it well, but it's one of those you don't want to try and break the net because it's sort of knee height and it's easy just to get underneath it and blast it into the crowd. But it was a controlled volley, just cleared the 2 defenders who were scampering back trying to block it on the line.
Here's Beardsley. Barnes. Houghton. Tries to find Barnes again. They'll have to hurry here, Rangers, because Venison's up with the attack as well. Sansom. But what an opportunity now for QPR to capitalise on that. Here's Whelan. But these few minutes are vital for them. Barnes. This is Hansen. Barnes has switched to the right for a moment, and Kenny Sansom has fouled him. And it's going to be a free kick to Liverpool. Glenn Hussein has made his way to the far side of the penalty area to come in behind the others. Venison's also trotting forward now. Well, that won't find anybody. And just for a moment, Trevor, QPR have the advantage.
Well, Liverpool lost their fluency a bit, didn't they, when Don Howe switched into definitely to the right wing to block Stevie Nicol. And although Barry Venison now is the free man at right back, they haven't made as good a use to him as the free attacking ploy as they did when Steve Nicol was there. So at the moment, a little bit rattled, 1-0 down, lost their fluency and must just try and settle down, get their possession game going again, and try and knock some better service into Rush and Beardsley, which has just sort of waned a little bit the last 5 or 10 minutes.
I'm just trying to think, I think from memory, it's the first time in the FA Cup this season that Liverpool have been a goal behind, and it's going to be most interesting to see what effect that has on the game. Barnes is having very much a roving commission today. He's been on the left, on the right, down the middle. Here's McMahon. Good challenge by Parker. And Wegerle's gone to the left, Clark to the right. Simon Barker, whose cross produced that goal. Now Clark. And Paul Parker, the sweeper, is in the penalty area, furthest forward for Rangers, if they can get the ball in. It's still Clark. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 0 in the 6th round of the FA Cup. Nicol, Beardsley. Just in case anybody is coming in on a pleasant Sunday afternoon, having missed the first half hour, Ray Wilkins the scorer. And there he is again in attack. Pressing Glenn Hussein, it's a foul. It's a free kick to Liverpool. The foul came before the handball. No hard feelings. Seven minutes left in the first half as Rangers with their tails up, working hard with Kenny Sansom on the ball. Good pass to Wegerle. And another good one too to Wilkins. Now Barker, slick that. And neat. Barnes now on the right wing. Beardsley, in fact, has gone across wide on the left at the moment, as they try to find ways of upsetting this carefully organised QPR defensive system. Free kick to Liverpool. Hussein has made his way forward. This is Venison. Barnes. It's a dangerous turn, and Maddox got in with the challenge. Barnes facing the kicker, rush in the 6-yard box. Hussein waiting to come in. There's Barnes. Clark heads it out. Back in by Houghton. Whelan's shot, and there's a player offside.
QPR, as I said, defending well. When you play the sweeper system and sometimes you hem back, there's going to be occasions where you have to let the opposition knock it around, as Liverpool do so well. But when it gets into that penalty area, they've always just getting that toe end in and the foot in. What's important now is to make sure they don't concede an equaliser and go in at half-time still leading 1-0.
Yes, the incentive's certainly there now for the West London club. Wilkins has given them a wonderful platform here. Bardsley to Barker. Bardsley's cross. Clark let it go to Wegerle. Here's Clark. Now it's Kenny Sansom. Wegerle back to Wilkins. Sinton. And Houghton to McMahon. Now there's a break on for Liverpool. 3 up with him. Beardsley going down the inside left channel. Bardsley the defender. Very assured. As indeed has been much of Rangers' play, especially since they took the lead. 4 minutes left in the half. Rangers 1, Liverpool 0. Houghton. Here's Venison now for Liverpool. And off McDonald for a corner. So let's just see what's going to happen from this corner. Well, Liverpool haven't made the most of their corners, there's no question about that. Sinton to Wegerle. Foul by Venison. Now the referee who took over, Kevin Lynch. We must call him a referee. He's got a linesman, of course. He's got all the full qualifications, and he booked Barry Venison for that trip on Roy Wegerle. That's the first caution of the afternoon, Trevor.
Well, Roy Wegerle's close skill invites defenders to make tackles like that, and if he does just toe end the ball past you and you're late with your tackle, you always got the chance to get him booked. Probably a little bit unlucky, but he's got his name in the notebook anyway.
Sansom takes the free kick for Rangers. McMahon. Sinton. Well, Nicol was a few yards behind him there, and Wegerle's in the centre. McMahon won it. Barker tackled him. Play on Hussain. Now, can Liverpool pull their way round before half-time? This is Barnes. Houghton. Rangers again shaping up in defence in tidy fashion. But Russia's shaken off Danny Maddox. That could be vital. Houghton. What are your thoughts then on the first half generally, Trevor?
Well, Liverpool started very well and took a grip, and then QPR, certainly by switching into to block Nicol off, came more and more into the game. Had a good spell when they played 3 or 4 longer balls into Colin Clark, and one of them brought a bit of fruition. Bruce Grobbler couldn't deal with the cross, and Ray Wilkins tucked it in with his left foot. I seem to remember him scoring, was it against Brighton in a cup final? He curled one in with his left foot. Might be something about the FA Cup that encourages him to use that left peg of his.
Well, you're speaking as a man who's scored in a cup final, so you should know. In fact, I was going to mention the hat-trick Trevor scored for his Sunday team today, but I think Billy Bonds has turned things around at West Ham. Now they don't need you anymore. Venison forward, looking for Rush. Here's Ray Houghton. Barnes. Oh, space for McMahon, and for Whelan, and for offside, Beardsley. And Ronnie Whelan has said something to the referee, Mr. Lynch, and he's being called across. A little bit of anxiety creeping into Liverpool's play, perhaps, and into their feelings approaching half-time. Kenny Dalglish's side 1-0 down. Regularly. Simpson, who was fouled. McMahon came in behind him. And Rangers look as though they will finish this first half on a high note. There haven't been many chances. Wilkins took the one that came his way. We're in the last minute of the half, and Danny Maddox is forward for the free kick. So is McDonald. As Clark challenges Grobbelaar and leaves him off the field of play, we're into stoppage time. Here's Barnes. Good pass for Houghton. Rush waiting in the centre. And Simon Barker aware of the danger. Well, Rangers have stuck to Don Howe's carefully arranged shape and policy, and it's paid off for them in this first half. No question about that. And they finish it to a great roar from the Loftus Road crowd, because the London club, thanks to Ray Wilkins, go off a goal in the lead. The deputy referee there, Mr. Lynch, having a word with Paul Parker. Bruce Grobbelaar goes off disappointed, but at half-time, a smile on the face of Ray Wilkins, a frown perhaps on the face of the FA Cup holders. It's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 0.
Well, Liverpool certainly knocked out of their stride by that goal. What did you make of that first half, Jim?
Well, it was an interesting one, as Trevor pointed out. The tactical battle was won by Don Howe, because Nicol was getting forward on the left and causing problems, and he immediately stopped that by bringing Stinton over. I mean, the counter to that in the next half would be to bring Saunton on at left back and Nicol at right back, because both are adventurous, and it might give them the space they need. Rangers have done so well, you know, with that tactical side of it. But really, Liverpool haven't really functioned. The only one who's made us think that they might score a goal is Barnes. Beardsley, when he's not functioning and sparking at his best, then Liverpool are half the side for me, and I feel that at the moment.
Okay, Jim, thanks very much. We'll look in some detail at some of those incidents in a few minutes, but of course there's another quarter-final tie that's been taking place today. Sheffield United against Manchester United. Let's show you precisely what happened now. Commentating, Gerald Sinstad.
Stevens header. Todd. Bradshaw to Todd. Sheffield's free kick, and Ince would do well not to express an opinion. He's a volatile character, Paul. He's so much talent with his feet. And too ready with his tongue sometimes. Nice little flick on, and it was just too high for Whitehouse. And Garner at the near post. The perfect flick on. You rehearse those time and time again on the training ground, and you hope for one or two to come off. That was beautifully done, but it just flew inches too high for Whitehouse. Bruce just saved it going for the corner. Garner near post, Mead at the far. And Booker coming in too, but Pallister was above the ball. Bruce's header, and then Ince, and now Wallace. Brave header by Gannon, and there may be some profit from it. Whitehouse, oh! It was asking for it, and a Garner couldn't give it. Whitehouse did some good work here. He dummied the shot, then played it. And how much did Agana miss by? A couple of inches, not more. Dane Whitehouse scored a goal at Bradford last Saturday that was his first for Sheffield United. Hughes to Wallace. Oh, he's got a bit of room. Hill has gone to cover him. Bradshaw behind Hill. And Wallace has beaten them both with ease. And Tracy got down as McClare got a knee to the ball. It looked. But Wallace there just dismissed Hill and Bradshaw. Gone. And now, as time to look, came off Booker, then off McClare, and Tracy smothered it. But there's the real threat. Forward by Hughes, and Robbins is onside. Can he pull it back? Corner. I thought it went out for a goal kick. So did Stancliffe, so did Tracy, and so did a lot of the Sheffield United fans behind that goal. Wallace. Good back header. McClare. McClare against the bar, and then McClare on the rebound from the corner. And so they will be wanting to know, was that really a corner or was it a goal kick? Let's have a look at the goal itself. McClare's header, and then his left foot. Now that's his third goal in 4 games. Now we'll just have another look at this. And did the whole of the ball cross the line or not? Hughes now for McClare. Robbins in the middle, Wallace on this side, Hughes going in, Ince going in. 4 there if McClare can cross. Hughes, the 1-2 and offside. McClare was allowed to run by the Sheffield United back 4 and was pretty clearly offside. 10 men behind the ball for Manchester United. Palestine for McClare. Duxbury racing ahead of him. Just pass into his stride. Free to cross to, this is Hughes. Sheffield United were a bit stretched for defenders, and that has left Wallace in the clear. The shot, I think, was going wide anyway. Martin. Hughes. Duxbury. Again, Wallace unmarked, but offside. Cross comes right through to Wallace, but he was offside. Alex Ferguson, who's come down to the bench in this second half, has been on his feet more than he's been sitting down, expostulating, gesticulating. Wallace. It's like he's heading for goal, and he tried to float a bender. Didn't work for him. Good idea. Wants to go for goal, Danny Wallace. Alistair beaten that time by Dean. It's fallen for Agana, and again, and this time Leighton saves. But really, Agana should have done better than that. That was Agana's first shot. The second one with his left foot was very well saved by Leighton, to his credit. Ancliffe. It's time for the long ball now, no matter what side you are. One down in a cup tie and a minute and a bit to go. Dean. Roll pass in for Todd. Todd the pull-back. That was a good save. It really was needed then. And he plucked that right off Bob Booker's eyebrows. Good work by Todd. And Booker, I think, could see the net shimmering. The final whistle. Manchester United have beaten Sheffield United by a first-half goal from Brian McClare. They will be one of the last four in the FA Cup this season. People have been saying to me Manchester United's name is on the cup this season. Have you been feeling that?
No, I think that's a trap you can fall into. I think you've got to earn your right to win any cup, but I do think you need a little slice of luck. Any time I've won anything, that I've always looked back on an occasion where I said, well, with a wee bit of luck today. And I just hope we get some luck in the semi-final.
4 straight away wins for Manchester United. They've certainly earned their place to be in that semi-final draw, which we'll have live later on. Here, of course, Queen's Park Rangers leading Liverpool by that goal-0. Let's take a look at the goal, Jimmy.
Yes, it was a superb
cross,
goal.
good goal.
Looking forward to seeing it again.
We have to say, really.
Well, yes, but it was good how hard Simon Barker had to work. One, to get to the ball, and then how hard he had to work on the cross to make sure after the dummy that he got up in the air and made Grobbelaar struggle, because he was struggling, but it's that one-handed habit of his which turned round and bit him, and a beautiful volley at the end of it. You see, he didn't work quite as hard on the cross coming over as Barker worked to get the ball right over to the far post. There he is. See, if he'd gone at that with 2 hands, which he could have done, he'd have fallen on his back and it might have hurt, but 2 hands are definitely better than 1 in that situation. But we've seen Bruce get away with that year after year. Ball drops on the floor and he's onto it first.
Wilkins took it beautifully, mind you, having been given the chance.
Yeah, you see that lovely work by Barker. Now the volley. Medium pace left foot volley, as Trevor says. Anybody would be proud of that at any level of football.
Well, it certainly shook Liverpool up, because up till then they had looked the business. But I suppose most of the chances have been made by Barnes, and we've got a couple of examples of them. One early on in the match.
Yes, that was one, almost as if Rush arrived too early. It was a strange thing. He sort of stumbled. He was in there as the ball's flicked over. He gets there, but look, just can't make contact with the ball. He was ready for it, but somehow couldn't get his foot on the end of it.
Yeah.
And this time, from this cross, which he ends up heading, just a little bit of dummying coming in now, he seems to be in the air too soon, up, and then hanging too early for the ball to make the right contact, or for him to make the right contact with the ball. But in the right place, but not just able to finish.
I suppose they were the only 2 chances they really had in that first half, despite sort of dominating the first 20 minutes, probably.
Yes, and that was why, while Nicol was giving Barnes that support on the left-hand side of the field. Once they stopped that supply line to him and lost the extra man, then he was bottled up.
Yeah. Well, they're in trouble now, aren't they, Liverpool, really?
They're struggling. They're struggling for me because Beardsley is not clicking. And I would make that change. I'd bring Saunton on and put Nicol to right back and try and get through from that position.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got certainly an excellent second half to look forward to. So let's rejoin Trevor and John Motson.
Yes, Trevor alongside me goes along with Jimmy on that and half expects to see Staunton come on at left back and Nicol switch to the right, but that hasn't happened at the start of the half because although Gillespie and Staunton have both been stretching and still are, Kenny Dalglish has actually kept it the same at the kick-off. So we'll wait and see. Those people are happy enough, aren't they, down here in West London? Their team are leading by 1 goal to 0 against the FA Cup holders, thanks to this man here, 33 years old. He's seen service with some great clubs. Manchester United already through to the semi-final. Ray might be forgiven for starting to think about meeting them in the semis or in the final, but being the professional he is, he knows he's a good 45 minutes away from that. And so indeed are Queen's Park Rangers. There's no way you can take anything for granted against Liverpool. And he'll have had a hard few words to say, I'm sure, in the dressing room, and so will Ronnie Moran. Here's Clark. Wilkins. MacDonald. We've got the official attendance, by the way, here this afternoon. It's just over 21,000. It's not quite capacity, partly because there was one area of the ground left deliberately free for segregation and safety reasons. But looking around Loftus Road, which is, as I say, a very tight stadium, it's well packed and it's a good atmosphere. As you can hear, Hansen, Beardsley. Barnes rushes coming towards the near post. Just the last couple of times John Barnes has got the ball, it's been Paul Parker that's closed him down, Trevor.
Well, occasionally where Bardsley's just caught that little bit forward, Paul Parker very conscious that side that Barnes is the danger, because pitch is starting to dry out a little bit, and now and again when you're in those wide positions and trying to whip in a fast cross, it'll just bobble at the wrong time and shit into the high into the crowd. It looks terrible, but it's only just that late bobble that you can't adjust to.
I think there may have been a slight change in the Liverpool tactical system. It threatened to happen in the first half a bit. Beardsley has come back almost into a left-sided position, which is why Bardsley for the moment is marking him, and Barnes is much more central. There were signs of that in the first half as well, of course.
He is definitely playing up front with the lean rush. It's a tactic actually they played here in the league game, and it did get them back into the match.
So a switch by Kenny Dalglish. It's very much a tactical battle between the two coaches. Here's Sansom. And at the moment Parker is marking Barnes and McDonald is the free player at the back in the Rangers defensive system. So plenty of thoughts going into it. One wonders whether Rangers can either hold on here or even improve their position, or whether Liverpool can keep their hold on the FA Cup. Here's McMahon to Whelan. Barnes and Wilkins, whose influence will be of even greater importance in a sense in the second half, and it was when he scored, because it's his job to make sure Rangers keep their shape in the middle of the field and don't let Liverpool take over the game. Kenny Sansom too, in that sense, player with a lot to offer, having been in big matches like this so frequently in the past. Mostly with Arsenal, of course. Barker. Whelan and McMahon haven't been as effective in this match as they were against Southampton and Norwich in the earlier rounds that I saw. Maybe a compliment that to Barker and Wilkins, who are the two central midfield players for QPR. Bottled the game up a little bit there. That's Hussain climbing on Clark. Free kick to Rangers. McDonald's made his way forward. McDonald. Oof. Corner. He's off the Liverpool head. And it was swinging in viciously. So Andy Sinton will take the corner. David Bardsley has made his way forward this time into a near post position. McDonald and Maddox coming from deep. There's McDonald. Clark couldn't turn it in. Bardsley, he couldn't either. Corner. QPR finding some space in the Liverpool penalty area. Not quite enough, perhaps, for the shot that would have counted, but it's a corner again. Maddox, deflected by Hussain. Corner number 3. Andy Sinton's got a long way to go because he takes them on both sides. But he's delivering the ball quite precisely into that crowded area, just where Rangers want it. And McDonald has now gone nearer to the kicker. Wegley on the goal line. And it came off John Barnes, did it, or was he pushed? He was pushed by Colin Clark. And that little flurry might just have brought the second goal at one point, Trevor.
Oh, good spell of pressure, and I think Liverpool thankful again for Ronnie Whelan. He made one great tackle in the first half, and there again it was him who blocked those two right in the middle of the goal mouth scramble.
This is Nicol, and Parker is covering. Wegley, Wilkins, Whelan in the way again, McMahon, and now Houghton. And it was Barker who came back. Over 5 minutes gone in the second half. QPR 1, Liverpool 0. Playing for a place in the FA Cup semi-final to join so far Crystal Palace and Manchester United. Here's Barker. Rangers really have gone about their business here in a very workmanlike, assured manner. Says a lot for the careful way that Don Howe prepares his team for every match, especially the big one-off games. McDonald's in the thick of it again. The flag's up now on the far side. And we're going to have the substitution, or a substitution for Liverpool. It's not quite the one that the boys were predicting, because it looks to me as though Gary Gillespie may be waiting to come on. Certainly Barry Venison is the man who goes off. That was what was suggested. And Gillespie comes on in his place. Scored the winning goal against Millwall last week after a long spell out with injury, and he's gone into the right-back position, it would seem, Trevor.
Well, I do find that surprising, because Steve Staunton, who's the other substitute, is a really good attacking fullback. Could easily have played him at left and Steve Nicol at right back. Gary Gillespie really usually a centre back, and not really happy, I wouldn't have thought, playing right back. Perhaps they're just going to encourage him to go up and use his height, though, at set pieces.
Here's Ray Houghton. Oh, well played by Simon Barker. He's having some match in midfield for Rangers. He's all over the pitch. Indirect free kick for dangerous play. So here is a chance perhaps for Gillespie to lend his height to the Liverpool force as Hussein goes up with him. That was Barker. Here comes Whelan. Wegley. Alan Hansen, the only man back in the Liverpool half. The others staying forward as he pumps it up, looking for Rush. That's McDonald. Hussein. Wilkins jumped rather into Hussein there, according to the referee. That's a free kick to Liverpool. And there's danger momentarily here for QPR. Liverpool are beginning to threaten with their fans packed behind the goals that they're attacking. John Barnes will take the kick. There's a wall of four with a Liverpool player joining it at either end. And Mr. Lynch wants them further back. Right on the line, I suspect. And Barnes. Oh, brilliant! What a great free kick by John Barnes. David Seaman got a hand to it, I think, but he couldn't keep it out, and Liverpool have equalised. And this was a John Barnes special. Seaman off to his right. He did get both hands possibly to it, but the ball was curling away from him into the roof of the net, and it's 1-1 after 55 minutes. And Barnes, a little landmark for him. That's his 18th goal of the season, and that's his best ever total in his professional career. He needed just one to reach that figure, and We couldn't have asked for a better one, and neither could Kenny Dalglish, because what's really concerned him and Liverpool is that puts them right bang back into this cup match. You can hear their supporters now celebrating that vintage Barnes goal. Well, I would imagine Ray Wilkins will regret giving away that free kick now. Here's Whelan. So the holders are back on terms. The face of the game has changed. Here's Gary Gillespie. And now it's Rangers' character that comes under the microscope. What did you make of it, Trevor?
Well, I thought it was a magnificent free kick, but I think David Seaman will be a bit disappointed. When you see John Barnes taking a free kick and you're a goalkeeper, he's got that ability to put it either side. That's the problem.
Here's Houghton. Liverpool going for the jugular now. That was McDonald on his knees. Here's Parker. Gillespie. The flag is up for offside.
Yeah, when you hit a free kick like that, I mean, the wall was lined up to encourage him to hit it in that side.
Here's Beardsley against Maddox, and Rangers just losing the place for a few minutes. Rush. And it needs the experienced players now like Wilkins to get hold of the game again.
It's just sufficient lull now just to finish that point, I think, John. But yeah, what happened, he encouraged him to hit it that side, but because he's got that ability to actually lift him over the wall into the other corner, David Seaman's sort of near enough in the middle of the goal rather than being the side, in fact, that the shot ended up in. And although he got his hand to it, he couldn't keep out the power. But I think he'll be a bit disappointed.
Mind you, you often think if that goal had been scored by a Brazilian, they'd be showing it for the rest of the week, wouldn't they, on television? Anyway, it's 1-1 here at Loftus Road, and QPR are back on the attack. They've sent McDonald and Maddox forward for the free kick. Wilkins and Sampson close to the ball. Flags up, presumably climbing by McDonald on Hussein. Well, you wouldn't say it was an inspired substitution because it didn't have much to do with the way the goal was scored, but it did come just a couple of minutes after Gary Gillespie came on. And that's Nicol to Beardsley. Two to beat. Bardsley. John Barnes again. Clever. Houghton far post, well taken by Seaman. Barnes is having an inspired spell. Things going much more Liverpool's way now. Got more of a grip on the game. Here's Whelan. There's true cup tie spirit reverberating around the ground. We've been playing for an hour. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 1. And as I said earlier, both teams have been heavily involved in drawn matches and replays in this competition. There might be another one, you never know. This is Barnes. And if there was, then you'd obviously have to fancy the holders back at Anfield. So QPR must turn up the volume a little bit here now. Try and get back in front. John Howe will be well aware of that. Barnes was fouled. Liverpool fans in good heart since that equaliser. Gillespie with the free kick. Played in low to Barnes. And Seaman had to adjust his position because it span off a Rangers player. Well, that's not the best of kicks, but Kenny Sansom helped it on. If you were Don Howe, Trevor, how soon would you start thinking about the possibility of Mark Falco?
I think you consider Liverpool have gained the initiative, so I think he'll give it another few minutes, but it has to be an option that he's got to consider, because they wouldn't relish, as I said earlier, going up to Anfield, and I think it does need a change, because they have just got their chins down a bit at the moment. Here's Wegerle. Wegerle and Clark haven't been in many scoring positions in the course of the match, the two strikers. Not entirely their fault, that, of course. It depends partly on what's coming through from behind. Well, the referee, Mr. Linson, would expect to be in the middle this afternoon. For anybody who's joined the match late, Brian Hill of Kettering, the former Cup final referee, went off injured in the first half. Here's Wegerle. Free kick to Rangers. And Kevin Lynch from Lincoln took over in the centre, senior linesman. Grobbelaar organising the people in front of him. MacDonald coming in from the far side onto Bardsley's kick. This is Wilkins, but it was Rush first. Back foraging for Liverpool, finding Houghton. Beardsley. Two England players tangling, Barnes and Parker. That's Wegerle, that's Clark! Oh. That was the best little combination between the two that we've seen, but a linesman's flag was up anyway on the far side, so an offside would have ruled out any possible goal. There's Parker. Oh, it's a good-looking ball, and Grobbelaar was in the right place to cut it out. And here's Gary Gillespie, who came on at right-back in place of Venison. Has played there for Scotland, actually, Gillespie. This is Whelan. And McMahon in a central position. Bear in mind that the semi-final draw comes up at the end of the programme, live from Lancaster Gate. I was saying that Crystal Palace and Manchester United were already through. And as Whelan tries to tidy this up for Liverpool, he only finds Bardsley. Barker. Rush. Now it can go right. Winners of this tie to join them, and of course the winners of the Oldham-Aston Villa sixth-round match, which has yet to be played and will take place on Wednesday night at Oldham. That's the way the cup looks at the moment. It's very tight here. 20 minutes gone in the second half. It's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 1. Wilkins for Rangers, Barnes here, the scorer for Liverpool. Looks for Houghton. Just a little bit of a lull the last few minutes. QPR just reshaping the troops, so to speak, after conceding that equaliser. And really, they've been bitterly disappointed, because with the sweeper system getting that 1-0 up, they would have been hoping, I'm sure, that that might have been enough to see them through to that semi-final. But as it is now, QPR two substitutes are having a literal trot, so perhaps Don Howe is thinking of bringing on and making that change.
Yes, the other sub is a defender, Justin Channing, so if we do see a QPR switch, I think it'll be Falco. In the meantime, here's Houghton to Gillespie for Liverpool. And Parker across to meet Barnes. That's really represented a big change in the system. Parker's had to mark Barnes because he's gone far more central once the match got underway, and Maddox is still picking up rush. McDonald is free for the most part, and Bardsley is marking Beardsley. Bit of a tongue twister, that. There goes Wilkins. Hansen across. Staunton also has been stretching as though Kenny Dalglish may be thinking about bringing him on still. There's Barker for Rangers. Forward by Parker, offside flag up against Clark. This is McMahon. And Wegerle in on Hussain, but just couldn't take the ball in his stride. Just a reminder to Liverpool and Hussain in particular not to get complacent. Here's Gillespie. McDonald to Sinton, good ball. And Hussain didn't play the ball, did he? He went straight through onto Andy Sinton, who will need attention. Hussain, who was sent off at Norwich for 2 bookable offences against Robert Fleck. This time it's Sinton who is the player he catches, and there's no excuse for that, really. Is there, Trevor?
Well, a little bit lucky not to get booked on that occasion, really, because when I look back at the Barry Venison booking in the first half, I'm not sure that it was quite as bad as that one. It was quite similar to saying the 2 bookings at Norwich. In fact, man going past him, and you know, he has that tendency to go in two-footed and then brings the man down. It's certainly going to make sure that he doesn't skip by him.
Well, Sinton's back on his feet. It's a free kick to QPR to be taken by Kenny Sansom. They've got all the troops up there, McDonald and Maddox. Clark. Wilkins tries to get in, but look at Ian Rush. He's got space ahead of him, and Barnes to his right. And this is dangerous now, because McMahon and Beardsley are also coming through ominously from deeper positions. Still Barnes. He's away from Parker, and it's Barker again. So far, I would think Queen's Park Rangers' most effective player. Number 8, Simon Barker. And he tends to get stronger as matches go along. He's renowned here for his lung power and his ability to last the 90 minutes at full pelt. He'll need to against McMahon, actually. This is McDonald. Now Steve Nicol up against Bardsley. Oh, he's found Beardsley. McDonald's header. Nicol. Barker. Sinton. Foul by Nicol. Now the referee has gone to his notebook this time, and I think Steve Nicol's going to get booked. And it seems a silly thing to say, but I think he's almost paying for what happened a few minutes ago with Glenn Hussain. I think the referee has decided to take action because there have been 2 fouls in quick succession, Trevor.
Often happens, becomes the golden rule, that 2 or 3, and it really, as he goes in here, all right, it was I mean, he didn't really make any aim at the ball, did he, and got eased on the shins, and actually seeing the replay like that, perhaps it did warrant the booking rather than on the first occasion where I thought it was more clumsy than anything.
So the yellow card for Steve Nicol, 20 minutes to go. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 1. Bardsley with the free kick for Rangers. Hussain heads it out to Houghton. And it's Liverpool playing on the break now, and in time-honoured fashion, looking dangerous when they get the ball out to Barnes. Here's Whelan. It's just beginning to look now as though Rangers are getting stretched. McMahon. Beardsley. Rush is coming near post. Seaman got a hand to it, and it needs to be cleared by Sansom. Hussein, Houghton, and Liverpool are in charge of this spell in the match. Gillespie, Hussein, the Swedish captain, comfortable on the ball, but then who isn't in this setup? Here's Hansen. Oh, that's good play from the back by the captain. This is Nicol, and there's Rush. Corner. Danny Maddox just got to Ian Rush on the near post to prevent him sliding it into the net. Here's Beardsley. Houghton. That was deflected too, corner. Well, we've said before, there comes a time in a match when you have the feeling in your bones that Liverpool look like scoring, and I have to say that's been the way of it the last 5 minutes or so. Their supporters seem to be reflecting that at the moment. Hussein is forward for the corner. Clark heads it back to Houghton. Here's Nicol. And it's out.
Great run again there, Stevie Nicol trotting back, and it is weird when you think of him as a natural right-footed player, how effective, that much better he seems to be as a left-back rather than right, but here we do have eventually Stevie Staunton going to come on then now. Let's see where he's going to end up, and Peter Beardsley coming off, never seemed happy today, certainly not in his wide midfield role, which in fact, since John Barnes has gone up front, the role is had to play, and be interested to see as the rest of the season goes on what eventually will happen, because there's a few occasions where Peter Beardsley perhaps hasn't started a game or has come off in a game.
Yes, with the World Cup in mind, that's a situation that will be monitored, I'm sure, very closely. Steve Staunton's wearing 14, he's gone to left back, and Steve Nicol has moved onto the left-hand side of midfield. That's the way they've reorganised. That was Gillespie, the other fullback now. He's wearing 12. Hussein. Houghton. Well, when Kenny Dalglish made the first substitution, Liverpool scored within 90 seconds. We'll see if that has the same instantaneous effect. Or can Rangers pull this out of the fire after a quiet spell from their point of view? Here's Wegerle. I can see Don Howe urging them on from the bench over there. Very animated. McDonald looks for Clark. Nice header back. Here's Wilkins out to Bardsley. There could be something on in here for QPR. Barker. Volleyed away by Ronnie Whelan. Sansom. Challenged by Barnes. Wegerle. Free kick given. And the home supporters now hoping for something. There's McDonald. Clark. Wilkins. Span off the side of his foot, rather. And here's Steve Staunton. To McMahon. Parker drives it forward. Clark's on the chase behind Hansen, and Grobbelaar seems to come a fraction late, or rather start to come and then hesitate. He's got to get back now, because Rangers, with 15 minutes to go, are pressing again. Here's Barker. Bardsley. This is McDonald. Bardsley again. Clark pulling away towards the far side. Gillespie had the height to meet that. Here's Sinton. Parker for Rangers. They're still lined up in the centre. McDonald and Clark are waiting. This is Wilkins, but he's driven Bardsley wide with that. Rangers now are going to have to take chances. They push Kenny Sansom and Alan McDonald forward here. Bardsley, Wegerle couldn't reach it, and neither could Sansom, who'd gone into a centre-forward position.
They're not really winning those balls now, and I think with just under a quarter of an hour now, it's very late to come on with a substitute if you leave it much longer than this. So I think Mark Falco's got to get on pretty quick, because he did cause them a lot of problems in the air in that league game back in November.
Meantime, it's McMahon for Liverpool. Here's Staunton. And Barnes has been lively, to say the least, in that central position. He's giving Rangers something to think about every time he gets the ball. Nicol. And he tries to get Nicol back in again. Good cross and Seaman there from Steve Nicol. No question now that Falco is going to come on. Bardsley. Oh dear. Cut out by Houghton. Yes, the Rangers attack does need freshening up, there's no question about that. Got to have a real go for it in the last few minutes to prevent going back to Anfield. And that's always assuming Liverpool don't score again. Here's Clark. Wegerle. Foul. Whelan. I just wonder whether this referee, Mr. Lynch, who's taken over, is using the notebook a little more than Brian Hill would have done. He's going to put Ronnie Whelan now. That's the third Liverpool player, if I'm not mistaken, to be cautioned and given the yellow card, which is unusual for Liverpool with their disciplinary record. But while that's being dealt with, we're seeing the back of Roy Wegerle, and for the first time in some weeks, the appearance of Mark Falco. Experienced striker with a good left foot, and he's going to come on just as Rangers prepare to take a free kick. He gets a big ovation from the home crowd. Ray Wilkins will take the kick. Danny Maddox is forward on the far side. And the header out by the captain, Hansen. Corner for Rangers. Sinton will take it. Clark facing the kicker. MacDonald also in a near post position. Nichols header out. Sansom back to Sinton. Still lining up in the middle. Sansom again. Sinton. Hussain comes to meet it. Wilkins missed it completely, and that could put Liverpool away with Houghton. Barnes in the inside right position against Parker. He's beaten him. Against Parker, he's beaten him too. It's a great run by John Barnes, but the third man was David Bardsley, his old Watford colleague, and he stepped right across him. And that could well have been curtains for Rangers if Barnes had got through. Here's Falco, though. MacDonald. Wilkins. Clark. And it's going to come out to Sinton. Falco and Clark waiting in the centre. Sinton, no, headed away by Hussain. Good defending. McMahon. Well, there's a strong flow to the match now in the last period. 10.5 minutes left on the clock, and neither side here settling for the draw. Rangers can't afford to. Liverpool don't seem as though they want to. Gillespie well forward. Oh, he's got right through. And he's found Rush, and that's it. Ian Rush scores from Gary Gillespie's pass, and Paul Parker holds his head, or hangs his head, because Kenny Dalglish's team did not settle for the draw. They're in front for the first time through Ian Rush. Parker went for the tackle and missed it. Gillespie got away. MacDonald tried to hold him up. Rush just came in behind him. Left foot right in the corner. And Ian Rush scores 10 minutes from time. His 20th goal of the season. His 31st in the FA Cup in his career. And it puts Liverpool into a 2-1 lead. And the holders now are favourites to go to the semi-final. Here's Clark, though, for Rangers. Can they pull it back? Bardsley. Barker's coming in. And away by McMahon. This is Sansom. Well, Gary Gillespie, one of the substitutes, coming forward with great effect there from the right-back position to make the goal. Here's Bardsley to Maddox. And now Queen's Park Rangers, who led at half-time, find themselves with only about 9 minutes to save the tie. And Don Howe's team, who were so hopeful earlier, have found again that Liverpool are ominous opposition. You just never feel you've got them by the collar. And Rush, who else, strikes when it matters most. Staunton. Rangers, who haven't been beaten in an FA Cup tie here since 1980 when Watford won. That record is now threatened. And Liverpool, who've been in 3 of the last 4 finals, may find themselves now in the last 4 again. Handball by... Oh, it's an offside anyway. It's a free kick to Rangers. Well, there's great excitement there with around 8 minutes left. Looking for Falco. Sansom. And Kenny Sansom tricks his way through. Oh, what a pity for Rangers. He couldn't have found somebody with the cross. Bardsley. Wilkins goes up. McDonald's in there now. Oh, is he pulling the shirt of McMahon? Well, it's play on. Bardsley. Parker. Falco. Clark. Well, they couldn't have more players in there, but the only danger of that is that if Rangers overcommit themselves again, they're in danger of conceding as they did before, because Rush and Barnes are still lurking upfield as Kenny Dalglish barks at his defence. Seven minutes left. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 2. There's Justin Channing, the other QPR substitute. Hussein. Barker. Barker's tripped his way through for Rangers. What a brilliant goal! That's a superb effort by Simon Barker, and it's 2-2. And now it's the Liverpool supporters' turn to look solemn-faced as Simon Barker scores a fine individual goal 6 minutes from the end to push this cup tie to still greater heights. Well, we were saying he was Rangers' best player on the day. He made the first goal, and now he scored the second, and proves again that for a midfield player, he lusts the 90 minutes, possibly, as Don Howe has said, Simon Barker as well as any player in the country. He had the legs to get right through there, and what a good, strong finish. Trevor Brooking.
Great cut tie it's been, and 2 magnificent pieces of finishing. Ian Rush just got that one chance, hit it in with his left, and there again Simon Barker, a magnificent strike into the top corner.
And could Rangers go one better and win it? McDonald coming in from the far side. Falco tries to get there as well. And we're where we were really just a few minutes ago, because with 10 minutes left it was 1-1, and now about 5 minutes later it's 2-2. Here's Wilkins. Barker. He's had a terrific match, the number 8. That's a good cross too. Clark is there, couldn't direct the header.
It was a good chance actually to head it back across goal. Mark Falco put his hands up and is just shouting across at Colin Clark, because playing the 2 big lads, they're not easy to pick up, and really at the far post he was never going to score, couldn't really get the power, so the way to sort of head it across the goal would have been far more dangerous.
Well, there was a shot there of Don Howe, and how strongly his team have come back. because so often in those situations you find that Liverpool have killed the game off, but they didn't today. And things looking now, again, like possibly a replay at Anfield, but here's McMahon. It was 3-2 in the league, it might be 3-2 today. I'm not going to say which way. Here's Whelan, rush, and rush again. Wilkins trying to clear on the edge of the area, and Parker comes across. Stirring stuff here in West London. A fluctuating sixth-round cup match. Rangers in front, Liverpool in front, and now level again. Good value for money. Here's Sanson. Barker once more. And Ray Houghton trying to shake Barker off, but look, he's in there again. He's had a splendid afternoon, and he's determined to urge Rangers on yet again. Here's Sinton to Sanson. Now Wilkins. In by Bardsley. Falco jumping, flags up on the far side. 3 minutes left. Free kick to Liverpool. The score 2-2. And the finishing has been excellent, hasn't it? The Wilkins volley, the Barnes free kick, the clinical strike by Rush, and that spectacular Rangers equaliser from Simon Barker. You couldn't have asked for 4 better goals. MacDonald. And there was an injury to the referee as well. Game. Barnes. Parker with the challenge. And you still wouldn't bet against a winning goal. Gillespie's in the penalty area here for Liverpool. This is Barnes' cross. Rush is there too. And Kenny Sanson with 2 minutes to go. Glad to get the ball away. Are they going back to Anfield, or can somebody snatch it? Here's Houghton. Getting it back from Whelan. And look who's there again. Simon Barker. Absolutely outstanding, the number 8 for Rangers. One of the best midfield performances I think we've seen on Match of the Day this season, Trevor.
Well, he's worked very hard, and really the icing on the cake was the goal, wasn't it?
But still Liverpool pressed with Houghton, Barnes, and Barker's in there again, look. A minute to go. Here's Barnes. Whelan. Houghton. Oh, Rush actually was diving before the ball arrived, and it was Maddox who cleared for the corner, and Rangers now have got to pull everybody back, including Mark Falco. Ray Houghton to take the corner. We're in the last minute. It's John Barnes. Gillespie's waiting on the 6-yard line. It's Houghton again. Staunton. Well, it's time added on now for stoppages, but Whelan's looking for Staunton. His first touch not good enough, and that may well be Liverpool's last chance of winning this at the first attempt, but they're looking very much as though they'll be replaying again at Anfield as they did against Swansea and Norwich in earlier rounds, and QPR have had a replay, at least one, in every round. So that could be another repeat performance. Only this time it'll be away, and Steve Nicol goes down uncomfortably. That looked an awkward fall for the Scottish international. Already in injury time. Roy Evans will have to come on. It gives me a chance, Trevor, to ask you to sum up a very exciting match.
Well, I think in the end, just as well, isn't it, that both sides get another opportunity at Anfield on Wednesday, because it has been a very topsy-turvy game, both sides looking in control at different stages. I think we should also mention Gary Gillespie, because we said we didn't think that he would push forward in that full-back position, and there he goes. He created that second goal, didn't he? Probably thinking about it himself. They were quite pleased with it. Set up Ian Rush, so they were a great piece of finishing. But then thought that might be the glory winner, but in fact Simon Barker had other ideas. And really, as I say, I think a 2-2 draw is just about fair on the game's play.
Now, I wonder if they could prove you wrong with this free kick. I don't think. It's Staunton who takes it. But it's looking, as you say, very much like a second meeting. But here's Rush. And good news for Andy Roxburgh. Gillespie's return to the side, and Steve Nicol got up from that injury and doesn't seem to be too impaired. But here's Falco. And it's a free kick for backing in. Well, stand by for the semi-final draw, because there are only a few seconds of stoppage time left here, surely, and the referee who took over, Mr. Lynch, brings this tie to a conclusion, or certainly the first episode, because they now go back to Anfield on Wednesday night. Exciting stuff from the time Wilkins put QPR ahead in 29 minutes. John Barnes equalised from the free kick. Ian Rush put Liverpool in front, but then this man, for me, the best player on the pitch, Simon Barker, equalised for Rangers with 6 minutes to go, and it finishes Queen's Park Rangers 2, the holders Liverpool 2.
Well, Jim.